don't look for that. We want to get to like 1 million in 5 years, right? That's too far away. It's where are we at now? What do we want to go to next? So if it's like, 5,000 a month in revenue, we'll use that. And you want to get to like 10, right? That's the first step. And let's try to get to that. What can we do to get that? Those little steps are going to be, a lot easier to obtain. All right, here we are, episode number 40. 40. I know this is going to be better than when I turned 40, because that was a bad time to do that, which was this year, just so you know.
I turned 20.
Oh, okay. You're half my age. So we wanted to come up with an episode that was kind of, monumental, important, and I tasked you with that.
Yes, you did.
And what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about scaling your business and the difference between, business growth and scaling.
All right. So what is the difference between business growth and scaling?
So, growth obviously is, more revenue. You're seeing more clients. But scaling is finding a way to make that easier on yourself and being able to take on more than you could in the past. So basically creating systems, softwares, hiring employees, whatever it is to make that business operation more efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at it as you have a team of, let's say, 5 people, and you want to grow your business, right? So you can find more clients, which means you'd have to grow your team. Mm-hmm. Right? If you keep the things the way they are. But if you're more efficient, you have more processes, systems, templates, that kind of stuff, mm-hmm. which means that existing team can actually do more in the time that they have and the resources that they have. So you can scale without actually increasing your overhead, mm-hmm. and, having to take on more people yet. Right. Yeah. So it's what I refer to as, let's scale effectively internally first. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's where we're in that process right now in the business. Yeah. Is we're trying to scale our social media services in a way that, you and I can bring on and service and create better experiences for clients with the resources that we have.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And, with every business, the fear of growing and scaling is, maintaining the same amount of quality and, the same value, because when you think about growing, a lot of people can even be stubborn about growing their business or scaling their business because they're used to the way it works now. They have a good reputation and their clients are happy with them. But, having that aspiration and that ambition to, grow and still maintain that same quality, when you think about it, something has to give, right? So you either have to, invest in people and technology or whatever it might be to make sure that you can maintain quality, value, as well as, take on more.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that a lot of small business owners run into when they start to scale is they can't get out of their own way, mm-hmm. right? They cannot relinquish that control, especially if they built that business themselves. It's been them for many years. They then have a team and they know that they want to scale, they want to take on more. But in order to do that, you actually have to delegate and entrust your team to be able to do the things that you were normally doing, mm-hmm. right? And if you don't want to give up that control, you are the bottleneck and you will never scale, mm-hmm. As effectively as you will. And, if you're in a business where you're trying to scale and you aren't doing that, you may notice some team turnover that's happening. And that is because people want to feel empowered. They want to feel that they're valued there. So when you say, okay, I want you to do this, but then you're micromanaging and you're always mm-hmm. like on top of them that way, it's just not a great work environment to be in.
Exactly. And that's why you really have to take time and effort in considering applicants and, the employees that you hire, because if you hire somebody that you don't fully trust or intend on delegating the stuff that they're hired for, then, you're just wasting your money, mm-hmm. right? And you're wasting your time, which we know is the most important resource we have in business.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the different things that you can do in business to kind of start to scale, mm-hmm. right? I mean, if you did a Google search, like ways to scale your business, you'll see like a whole bunch of different articles that are going to come up about that. And a lot of them are like how to scale from, 10,000, to like 1 million, right? That's a huge leap. That's a huge kind of, hairy, audacious goal that you just, it's too much, right? But it's like, okay, well, if we're able to take 5 appointments in a day, right? How do we get that to 10, right? What can we trim? What are we doing that's kind of eating up our time? Is there parts of the whole process that you need to actually like automate, right? Systematize, so that you are making better use of your time. And that's one of the things, is looking at listing out, have your team do that, like list out everything that you do, right? In that run of a day, a week, or month, or whatever that is, right? And then start to, as a group, categorize that as to, can we put something in place? Can we cut it? Do we not need to do this? Right. And I think that's going to be, your first step, is figuring out where you are, drawing that line in the sand, creating that baseline.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like you said, it starts with a goal, right? So, if you have your 5 clients a day and you want to get to 10, that's where you have to start, right? Is like, okay, so I want to have 10 clients, and then work backward from there. At the very start, how are you going to make the changes to be able to have those 10 clients? Where are you spending the most time? When are you wasting the most time? What tasks are you doing? What things are mind-numbingly, everyday tasks that could be automated? And, are you generating the revenue that you can to invest in systems like Keep, that can automate that for you, and, generate a huge return on your investment in terms of time. And then, in turn for time, you have, the opportunity to take on more clients to generate more leads.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we've invested in most recently is a social scheduling tool that's not only making your life more effective in scheduling content for clients, but the reason one of the reasons that we chose it was our clients can actually utilize the software themselves. So you don't actually have to have us on a retainer to do social scheduling. You can actually buy the software from us, and it's proprietary to agencies like ours to be able to offer it. So, if you're a small business, you can't just go buy this software. But there are some efficiency tools in there, like auto scheduling, where you can just drop content in and it's set up on a schedule, and it will start to post out automatically based on the days and that you want it to come out, which is a great way to start scaling your time away from your social media and focus on those revenue generating tasks for existing clients.
Exactly. And I mean, the thing that attracted us to this new tool was the fact that it simplified things. And I think that's the very basis of scaling your business, is learn how to simplify things, because that's going to save you time. That's going to make it easier to take on new clients. It's going to make it easier to, provide that value and be consistent, most importantly, with every client that you have. Shaun and I were on the meeting with this, the ambassador, I guess, for the new software, and we're sitting there texting each other, like, so excited about all of the options that it had. It connects automatically to Google Drive, which that right there can save an unimaginable amount of time in terms of uploading and downloading content. So it really did simplify things, and the amount of time that we'll save is very valuable to us now.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we're looking to scale is obviously servicing new Keep clients that are coming on board. And Keep is that CRM marketing automation tool. So when clients come on board, we want to get content in front of them to help them get up started, more effectively and fast. And prior to that, I would have recorded videos, downloaded them, uploaded them to Vimeo or YouTube, built a page on our website, and then used those to send out to clients. So there's a lot of steps that were involved. About a month and a half ago, we switched from Loom for screen recording to Hippo Video, which comes with landing pages. So you can actually record videos, fully hosted landing pages. So it took all those steps out of the process. And now we know that we can create videos and have the link for a fully hosted landing page the way we want it, branded, with options for people to book, in our calendar, for them to do video replies, stuff that we would never have that easily been able to create. So the time saving was huge. And now it's going to allow us to scale more effectively and faster.
Absolutely. And I think a big part of, the whole process is, determining when is the right time to scale. So what for you, Shaun, are those key indicators that a business, or, even in your experience, that your business is ready to scale?
Yeah. And I think, and every business is different. But I think usually it comes up when, somebody is at the point as a business owner where you're just, you've kind of felt that intuition. And I know it's like, the hokey pokey, like you got that feeling, but it's like, you'll know when you're ready to take it to the next level. And I'm going to use that word next level very effectively, because it's like, don't look for that. We want to get to like 1 million in 5 years, right? That's too far away. It's where are we at now? What do we want to go to next? So if it's like, 5,000 a month in revenue, we'll use that. And you want to get to like 10, right? That's the first step. And let's try to get to that. What can we do to get that? Those little steps are going to be, a lot easier to obtain that way. If you track stuff, like, the amount of time spent on free consults, like how much time is your team spending on that? Can we reduce that down? It's those little things, cutting efficiencies and making them, more effective for your team and yourself is going to help you kind of scale all different elements of it. Another thing is if you're following your financials, which you should, it's like, is your profit margin starting to kind of come down because you're spending your expenses are getting too high, right? You're spending too much time doing stuff that's not revenue generating. So can we reverse scale? Can we scale back the expenses, right? Which in turn is going to up your profit margin. Right. I mean, this pandemic that we had was a huge thing for us in our business because we weren't spending as much anymore. We weren't doing, excessive traveling for, meetings. We weren't doing, video shoots as much. We were able to do more online, which brought our expenses down, which brought the profits up, right? So we scaled without actually trying to scale.
Yeah.
Right. So you can scale back in a positive way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's this idea that business owners, or small businesses are always going to be stressed and overwhelmed, and to a certain degree, that's certainly true. But I think the thing that people miss is that when you're feeling that overwhelmed stress, a lot of times you can find ways that's a big sign that you can scale. Because there's so much on your plate, or, you're not being efficient, but, like you said, scaling back with going through and planning and simplifying things and making them run efficiently. That's a big sign that you're ready to invest in technology, or you're in desperate need of automation, or any tool that you have or any tool that you can get to really make your business more efficient and take away that stress and that overwhelmed feeling.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, the other side too is looking at, scheduling your week, right? So, we're talking about being more efficient in things. If you offer a free consultation, which we do for anyone, if you want one, go to our website and you can get one. But if you opened up your calendar for the entire week and said, okay, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, they can book any time in there. Your team has to kind of get in a different mind shift every time that they go into a free consult versus working on a client project. And one of the exercises I did a couple of years ago when it was just me was, let's look at maybe booking Mondays or Fridays as free consults and leaving that middle chunk for client-based work. And that was huge because I knew from Tuesday to Thursday when I came in to work, I was focused on revenue generating projects. It was all client work. There was not free consults that are in there. And if you've done free consults before, you're hit or miss. Some people show up, some people don't. They're not the right fit. You don't know you're qualifying them. And if you have to jump from strategic client work to just conversation sales mind back to strategic, there's a cost to transition that happens, right? And in last episode 39, we talked about difficult clients and how they're sending you just stuff sporadically. And if you got to get into the mindset, go ahead and make that little update and then stop and then go in the next day and do it, right? You're not as effective and you're burning time, right? So your ability to scale is just not there.
Yeah, exactly. you know, time is of the essence, as with pretty much everything. And I mean, another big thing too that we reiterate time and time again in our blog posts and on our social channels and, you know, throughout the podcast is data and the metric side of things, right? If you don't have something that's tracking your business growth, you know, no matter what area or industry or whatever your business is, if you don't have that data and that metrics, it's going to be 10 times harder to scale and 10 times harder to know, you know, all the deciding factors. And, you know, if the efforts that you are taking to scale and grow your business, whether or not they're working, you know, you won't have that concrete information that is going to really help you to make decisions in a less stressful and, you know, taking away the guessing game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have anything else to add about scaling?
I don't think so, Shaun. The one question I did have for you though was, when did you realize you wanted to scale? Because I know recently, you know, taking me on, that obviously is scaling, and I'm just wondering what factors were running through your head, and what did you notice about your business that you made that final decision?
For me, I mean, I always had a vision that I wanted to grow the business. It was never like I wanted to have a team of 50 people and making like $10 million in sales, because I knew to get to that point, I would be pulled out of the business and I would be in that CEO level where you're just making high level business decisions, right? Yeah. And you didn't actually get to be working with the clients, which I absolutely love to do. But there was a point where I was like, okay, I'm maxed out. My time is maxed out. You know, by the end of the day, you know, there was still more that I could be doing, right? And what came down to me was the industry and the client demand for social media services was still there, and I was always being asked, and I was turning it away. Mm-hmm. I was not turning it away because I didn't want to do it. I was turning it away because I just didn't have the time to do it. Right. So that was like, it is time to scale, right? Mm-hmm. The demand was there. And, you know, you came into the picture, and now we're like, okay, now how do we take this and effectively scale that portion of it? Mm-hmm. Right. And for us, you know, my specialty and my experience has been 10 years with previously Infusionsoft, now switched to Keep, same software, just different brand. And it's like, okay, that's a very specialized offering, but those clients also need social media, and the people who need social media services can utilize what we can bring with Keep. So it's like, here's a perfect combination where we have a duo team now that has their area of specialty, but understands both parts, mm-hmm. right? So that was the natural part of it. And then also, if you're looking to scale a team, look for programs in your area, you know, that offer, you know, incentives or, you know, benefits on wage. I mean, we got a government program that subsidizes some of your wage because you came right out of school, right? Those programs exist, you know, whether it's new hires out of school, or maybe it's people who are unemployed. There's programs to, you know, get those people back into the workforce. So, you know, if your issue is with wondering, can you afford that? Look for that help. Mm-hmm. Realizing it is an investment first. So, you know, it's going to take several months to start to take that scaling and generate that revenue. It's not the moment you decide, okay, tomorrow we're going to start scaling and suddenly your revenue spikes. It doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. So you got to be aware to start to invest that. And for me, it was because of this pandemic, and I was able to cut the costs. There was some money in the bank that I knew we could go a couple months as a kind of an investment expense there to get things up and running. Right. Prior to that, it was always like, you get things into the positive, and then you got to pay your taxes, and you go back to your line of credit, and you go, right. And you're very familiar with that. If you've run a small business, you live and die off that line of credit, and you're just playing it back and forth and back and forth. Yeah. So that's it. That's it. Enough said. So thanks for listening to this episode number 40. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Go to our website, bluecowmarketing.ca, and you can book a consult with us there. We've got information about the services, the social media services, the software that we talked about, and our packages. And obviously you can find us anywhere on social media. Just search Blue Cow Marketing, and we are there.